Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing so y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Well, it is what it is. We got some best boxer in the world news, some Terence Crawford news. Since Terence Crawford done beat the hell out of Errol Spence, everybody know what time it is with the man, right? Because everybody has to officially know what time it is. Most people knew what time it is, you know what I mean, with Terence Crawford. But if you can hide behind the fact that he ain't had no significant fights, then you can play the role. Everybody in boxing knows how good Demetrius Andrade is, but they can still say he never fought Canelo and Gennady Golovkin and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? You can just do that. So now that Terence Crawford is out there, you know what I'm saying, then he's the talk of the town, right? So before I get to my main point, one point is you're hearing things about the rematch with Errol Spence, right? That Terence Crawford is saying, hey, look, we're going to have the fight at 147 pounds and that's it. We heard Terence Crawford say after the fight that it didn't really matter where the fight would be at. If it would be at 147 or 154, he would go up to do that too. Now he's saying it's 147 pounds is what he wants. And I'm also hearing that he wants more money if he's going to let it go up to 154. Now, all this is speculation because I haven't heard or seen anything directly from Terence Crawford, just team members and things like that. But it doesn't matter. Everything that I've heard is within the realm of the contract that they had, because the contract, what they had was, well, the winner is going to take over with stipulations and be able to get more money and decide where the weight is, right? We know Terence Crawford, was saying 154. And here's the thing that trips me out, though. Errol Spence has always been 147. Like, always. He's never been anywhere else, against Terence Crawford. Then there's the weight issue. It's always been weight issue. Errol Spence is about 160 pounder, 100 or whatever, but he gets down to that weight every time. So what's the difference this time? So I don't know. If Terence Crawford is very honorable from what I've seen up until now, I know that because of the negotiation with the first fight, that Terence Crawford is going to be as fair as possible. But I'm gonna tell you what I'm thinking. Terence Crawford's trying to save Errol Spence here. Everyone involved, if you're Errol Spence fan, Terence Crawford fan, Errol Spence team, Terence Crawford team, or the media, or anyone in boxing, I think we all agree that it might not be the right thing for Errol Spence to take an immediate rematch versus Terence Crawford. And Terence Crawford is the one who beat him up. And I know Terence Crawford because he didn't want to beat up Sean Porter either. He just took it easy on him until he was told, you better go and do something. Then he did something. Listen, I don't think Terence Crawford wants to fight Errol Spence next. I just know that, with contracts and stuff, Errol Spence probably didn't have an option to make him wait around till Errol Spence gets ready or fight or two and still wait around and still get the fight. So I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think that Terence Crawford, it's probably trying to get him to come down to 147 so Errol Spence could basically say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move on and do something else. But if it happens, then it's going to happen. Now, brings me to a couple of pundits. Now, when they talk about Terence Crawford, I've heard this before. Stephen A.Smith and Teddy Atlas. Those two guys, if you found me here, because I'm not out there, you got to be doing some serious looking if you messed around and found me. That means you're into boxing, all right, a little bit. So you would know who Teddy Atlas is. Stephen A. Smith does all sports on his show First Take. Loud character, but he's a part of American society right now. Like him or loathe him, right? So he gave his opinion after the fight, saying, man, Errol Spence better retire, basically, right? And to translate for retire is basically take some time off. That's what people mean with retire, because we don't even know not one person that's retired and just stay retired. If your name ain't like Joe Kawasaki or Lennox Lewis or something like that, but everybody gonna come back eventually, have a fight. So, but to take some time off to get himself together, seeing as though Errol Spence has been through a lot, you would beat the hell up in the ring, and you would beat the hell up being thrown out of a car, driving 100 miles an hour. So, with all that being said, those are the issues. So, Stephen A. Smith and Teddy Atlas have said he shouldn't fight the rematch, right? Now that the rematch has been activated, they're coming out again. He shouldn't take the rematch. We're worried about his well-being, right? And that's because they're messing around with Terence Crawford. I think if Errol Spence to come out right now and say, I'll fight Ugas again, I'll fight whoever else. I think the only one they would probably say something about maybe is Jerron Ennis. I think he could fight anybody else, and they weren't going to be worried about his well-being. Right? Sounds familiar to you? I'll just do it extra because this is exactly what was going on when it was Terence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao. And I'm not talking about 2 years ago. I'm talking about 7 years ago. Pacquiao was still doing his thing. This is before Pacquiao went and beat Keith Thurman, right? Worried about Pacquiao's well-being. He could get hurt. And even years before that, I think we can go back about 9 years now. They were worried about Manny Pacquiao's well-being. Do not get in the ring with Terence Crawford. You can fight Errol Spence because he's faster than Errol Spence and all that, but just don't get in the ring with Terence Crawford. This is the promoter for Manny Pacquiao, Bob Arum, his trainer, Freddie Roach, and the pundits, Stephen A.Smith and Teddy Atlas. That's something. You know what I'm saying? You got you got Errol Spence, better retire, right, or something, right? Don't fight him. Manny Pacquiao running around right the back half of his prime, right? Better not fight him. You're gonna mess around and get hurt. You know, Canelo 3 divisions up higher. Some people think he could beat him. Oscar De La Hoya, what was he saying? He'll make him look like a child, right? Look at all these superlatives when you're talking about this fighter. And I always say that because while these fighters are here and fighting, register what they're up to. They gotta pass away or stop fighting 10 years before we realize what we're seeing. Same thing with Deontay Wilder. People are gonna act like you didn't see. People that's hating on Deontay Wilder right now, their grandkids gonna ask them about Deontay Wilder and they're gonna be talking smack about how Deontay Wilder, man, this dude was knocking everybody out. Everybody, it didn't matter who. And then he'll walk away before they hit the ground. Never seen nothing like it before. Right now you're hating because hating is profitable. Or you're probably just trying to go with the in crowd instead of just watching something historical. What we've seen with Deontay Wilder is historical too. But it's just a different type of historical. This stuff with Terence Crawford is absolutely ridiculous. It's generational things that we're seeing right now. So register it. Stephen A. Smith and Teddy Atlas, they're not wrong here. What you think? Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.